Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is vlog number 10 since COVID-19 hit our shows and we went into a lockdown. And then lockdown's been lifted. There are still some restrictions. You still have areas where sometimes you have like a curfew or temporary lockdowns. There is an area where my cousin stays. It's a suburban area in itself, almost a mini city. It's in its own right, called Alua, and they have been on, that area has been on lockdown for a few days now. My uncle's house, but yeah, he is no longer alive. My cousin, his wife, his kid, and my aunt, they're all staying there. So there's another area where another uncle and aunt of mine are staying with my cousin and her husband. They just got married right before the lockdown, so for them, they both are working at home. They can, but currently they can't go out for, I think it's for a week, maybe 2 weeks. So that's very nearby. So that's there were possibilities that it could actually come to my area as well, and we might go into a lockdown. But I think at least this section is pretty much okay. There are residential apartment buildings, some houses, and a lot of businesses. So I'm not too sure about that. But so far, the update is a few days ago we got the news that maybe, and we're still waiting for an update, maybe on the 27th. That's Monday, the decision will be made that we may go into a temporary lockdown. However, reports since then has been that there's no point in going for a complete lockdown, but there will be some restrictions in place. You may not be able to gather in large groups. That's what I heard, and keep you posted if there's any other update that comes in. But that's the situation. Things are not going that great. Initially, India was dealing with it quite well. Kerala, my state, has also had been dealing with it extremely well. To be honest, I think the main problem came when they reopened the borders, and you had to do it anyway because there were a lot of people from the state living in the Gulf who wanted to come back. I'm not sure if everybody has come back yet. That's never going to be home for you unless you live in Dubai, maybe in the UAE. It's still never going to be possibly going to be home. It's not like Australia or America or Canada or UK or any of the other Western countries where you take citizenship and stay. There even Arabian countries don't really work that way, but I think UAE might be the exception. Anywho, so there are a lot of people, because they lost their jobs, they're living in apartments, and they're running out of money. They want to come back home, but at the same time, flights were a problem and stuff. I think maybe a lot of them have come back home. Hopefully, I have a couple of cousins who live in the Gulf. One stays in the UAE, and one stays with his family in Kuwait. So I think those guys are fine. They haven't been having any issues to speak of. They haven't updated anything. That's that bad. Their jobs are still going on good. One of my cousins' wife is also working, so I think they're pretty much fine. Over here, work has been going on pretty much as usual, with the only exception being that you're at home. So the situation has not changed much, and anyway, this is going to be the way that we're going to work. Is going to be from home. From my bedroom. I don't really like that fact because I don't have a separate room that I can actually keep. There is a spare room, but there's too much stuff in it, so and we share it, so therefore I can't make that my office space. But if things go like this, I think I mentioned this earlier, I am looking for some sort of alternate solution where I can get another desk slightly bigger than this, because I need a little bit more space. It's kind of cramped and crowded. I can't even show you because it's like pretty messy. It's getting dusty also quite a bit. Anyhow, that was about work related aspect. Oh yeah, I have a little tidbit. I got to know about this on Tuesday morning. As soon as I woke up, got a message from a friend of mine, an ex-colleague. No names going to be mentioned because apparently he left his organization in a slightly messy manner. When I say slightly messy manner, he served his notice and all that stuff, but his I think it was a 1 month notice period or something like that, and something. I'm not really sure exactly how long, but I don't think it's as long as what we have it. My company is two months notice period, and if you go up the ladder, it can be even like 3 months to 6 months. But his is an IT company, and to be honest, I've heard a lot of companies are doing this. They've been overworking him and his some of his colleagues. He worked on several projects for big companies that are based out of the UK, the US, Australia, China, I believe as well, a Hong Kong-based company, and several others. And so what happened was they took advantage of the fact that people are working from home. So they gave him a desktop. I saw a picture of it. He isn't very active on social media for some reason. He doesn't like Facebook. He likes Twitter, but he doesn't like Facebook and other stuff. And like I mentioned, he's an ex-colleague of mine, a good friend, although I rarely get to see him. And so apparently he told me that since COVID-19 hit, and they about to be honest, 3 weeks before we actually went to the lockdown, sensing the problems because this company has or has had a couple of Chinese large corporates as clients. They got the news, and what they decided was they made work at home kind of like almost mandatory for several sections of people, including him. And so they gave him a desktop, powerful desktop, and all that stuff. Compared to the one that I have, which I'm really getting pissed off at. But they gave him the desktop, said, here, you can take this home and you can work from home. And they also, why I'm saying it, that it's actually, they took advantage of the fact of, sort of manipulating the current situation as soon as lockdown hit. Majority of their staff were working from home, and they actually, even though it's 9 hour period, they were making them work for 13-14 hours mandatory kind of. Saturdays they would call up and say, well, since the system is at home, and the rest is understood, you may as well get up from whatever you're doing and go and switch on the system and work on this, send this report, do this, do that. So he has complained a few times. Like I mentioned, I actually haven't seen him in ages. I think over 6 months or something like that. More than 6 months. I think I saw him sometime last year, maybe around November or so. I think we ran into each other at some place. And so he has actually told me that a few times when we were on chat and on WhatsApp that these people are taking advantage. So he's complained a few times. He's even written a couple of emails to HR and people up the ladder, and they all said the same thing, like, be thankful you've got a job. We're only making you do this because we're trying to cut costs. Funny part is they actually hired more people. And so they were making him work for 13-14 hours, and when he complained, his manager and his boss and the boss's boss laid a tick on him, saying that you're ungrateful, you're this, you're that. So he said, do you really think things have actually changed? But why would you want us to work extra? So he said their answer was basically, you're at home, you don't have anything else to do, so might as well do it. So even when the lockdown got lifted and people started going out more, it didn't change. He asked me several times. In fact, I believe several of his colleagues as well, they complained about this. Some people saying, like, take it because there are a lot of people losing their jobs. I have another friend who told me a few weeks ago, I think maybe around 20 days towards the beginning of the month, I guess, he said that his company is closing down, a lot of them are being laid off. So people are saying, like, why don't you be grateful for the fact that you do still have a job when there are several people who don't have. But it's, yes, you're grateful. At the same time, maybe overworking you isn't the right answer. You're not getting the right adjustment of family life and stuff. And so, excuse me, I had a Pepsi and I had a burger for dinner. Burger King seems to be coming out. Must be the pickles. So so he told me this list Tuesday, and the funniest part was after that, he one of the clients that he has worked with, and he's had a great relationship with them because he, yeah, had to keep in touch with them for a very long time. They are, I think they're an American company, but the people who contacted him from the UK, so they might be having two offices, one in the UK and one in the US. So they have actually decided to hire people outside of the UK, and I think for the counterpart in the US as well as plan to do that. So they contacted several people from the outsourced companies that they were doing, who were doing work for them, individuals who they actually had good relationships with, who they knew could take care of their jobs, and they said, we offer you basically a job with us directly as employees. You don't have to worry about anything else. You just need to sign up with us, serve your notice period, and join. So he won't have an office. He can work from home. So that was actually great for him. So he said okay, and then they asked him what is his expectation for salary. He gave his amount in both Indian rupees and in British pounds, and they said way too easy, we can actually fix that for you. And they gave him a pretty reasonable, not reasonable, a pretty awesome hike. I'm not going to say the exact amounts, of course, because this guy doesn't even, I don't think he puts it online anyway. So, but and I haven't mentioned his name, but yeah, I promise I won't. Buddy, that's for you. So the funny part was they named the price, and he was like, "Oh, are you giving me this much?" And they thought that was little low because he's basically he's now working for a US UK company. So they said, okay, just give me a minute, and he was like, no, that's okay, and that's a good hike from what I'm expecting, way over what I was expecting. And they came back and they increased it by another 20%. So he like, okay, I'll take it. So the way he was telling me, it was like a lot of fun. And he put his notice period, and I think when the day he called me, he had already joined, that was this last Tuesday, when he called me, he had already joined the new firm, and he had basically settled in the new company, having already got their jobs. He got a brand new spanking laptop with all the bells and whistles, extreme. I saw the specs. I think it was like around 2 lakh rupees, close to 2 lakh rupees. I checked it on Amazon India, and it's like, man, I wouldn't be able to afford that. They bought it for him, and so he decided to buy some. He was basically decking out his spare room in his apartment, so that's going to be his office. He sent me a couple of pictures, so I definitely want to look at it. He did send me a picture of the laptop, or rather the link to the laptop, but they gave him a new laptop. His phone bills are going to be taken care of, because he will have to make international calls. And so he said, haha, suckers, to the previous organization. And they were almost begging him to come back, but because he dumped them right in the beginning of a new project, and they didn't have enough people to work it out. So karma, baby, karma's a bitch. It'll come to bite you in the ass. So do not mistreat your employees. Do not try to take advantage. Don't be a bitch. Don't be a bastard. Don't be a son of a bitch. Or a son of a bastard. Anyway, so organizations that do take advantage in these kind of situations, be careful, because it might come and bite you in the ass. So they are now struggling to get a replacement for him, and according to, I don't know if he's exaggerating, but according to him, he pretty much on most days he doesn't have to work more than, well, I say he has to be available, but he doesn't really do much work other than a couple of hours in a day, 3-4 hours. On most days, and the other days it might be like 8 hours or something like that. So he's pretty happy about it. So wish everybody was lucky like him. So anyway, that's about it. I just decided to share a few things. That's my vlog for this today, and hopefully we will not have any other issues. Dinner, like I mentioned, was from Burger King. It was a burger, and I had some fries, and I already had some Pepsi, and there was some 7-Up as well. So folks had 7-Up and I had a Pepsi. So I've got a couple of unboxings and some reviews coming up. I will definitely shoot them after this. So see you later.